Welcome to Hashtag's Wednesdays Weekly, a weekly information session in collaboration with the voluntary sector and public sector partners. This week, the host is Natalie Painting from the Carers Hub. Over to you, Natalie.
Hi everybody, let me just share my screen so you can see everything. Has that worked?
Yeah.
Yeah, are we all good? Okay, so I'm Natalie Painton. I'm the Carers Breaks Coordinator at the Carers Hub in Rochdale. So my main role is to ensure that carers throughout Rochdale are able to take a break from their caring role. So I work closely with volunteers to be able to do this. And my colleague is Karen.
Hi everybody, my name's Karen Youngblood. I'm the Carers Information and Support Officer at the Carers Hub at Rochdale, along with, I think there's about another 6 or 7 of us, and we support the carers in the Rochdale Borough.
Okay, so the reason why we're just trying to let as many people as possible know about what we do throughout the region. Since we went into lockdown beginning of March, the referrals into our service have been quite low compared to what they were before, so they've decreased quite significantly. So we just want to let as many people know that we're still here, we're still operating a full service, we're still taking referrals, and just to tell you really about what we do and what's available to carers. So one of the reasons why the referrals have decreased is because we did get lots of self-referrals in the past. So we would have carers that would be walking into GP practices, hospitals, community centres, shops, seeing our leaflets, speaking to neighbours, hearing about us through word of mouth and then referring themselves. But because, and rightly so, people are staying at home more at the moment, then they're not referring as much into the service. And then secondly, we receive lots of third-party referrals as well, so from professionals, organisations and GPs, social workers, charities, care navigators, community connectors. But again, with people having less contact with the services, we're not receiving as many third-party referrals. We are getting referrals in, just not as many as we were before. So it's just really shouting from the rooftops that we're here. We can offer a lot to carers, and please do refer people or refer yourselves. So the Carers Hub in Rochdale, we are a single point of access for all carers. So we don't just work with adult carers, we also work with young carers. So we class young carers as carers aged between 5 to 18. Also young adult carers who are carers aged between 18 and 24, and then adult carers who are any age above that. And we just want to make sure that carers of any age have access to information and a wide range of support services and are able to take a break from their caring role. The service is delivered by Encompass, which is a larger organisation that works throughout the north of England, and they also have 4 other carer services as well, so really experienced in delivering services to carers. Karen?
So, as we'll say, the definition of a carer. The other day I was doing one of these briefings and a gentleman asked me what actually the definition is of a carer. And it was a good question, Neil, because that was obviously, as you can see, is in the briefing. So our definition, as we say, is a carer is anyone, including children and adults who look after a family member, partner or friend who needs help because of their illness, frailty, disability, mental health problem or an addiction, and they cannot cope without their support. And the care they give, which is quite important, is that the care they give is unpaid. This gentleman wanted to know if claiming carers allowance meant that they were paid, that they were waged. And obviously, as you know, it's not that, because that's a benefit. So caring for someone covers lots of different things, like helping with their washing, dressing, eating, medication management, taking them to regular appointments, and or offering emotional support. So the delivery model that we use at the Carers Hub within Encompass is the referral is received by you guys, professionals out there, by the service access team. The service access team then contact the carer initially to register them on the case management system. The referral is forwarded to the carers manager, which would be my manager, Janet Riley, for allocation. So she would allocate it to one of the carers information support officers. The allocated carers information support officer, like myself, would then contact the carer and arrange initial appointment where we would do the assessment and support plan. Obviously now at the moment, because we're not doing any community work, this is over the phone, but normally it would be in a face-to-face meeting at the carer's home or in a designated place by the carer. Then there's a one-to-one support to work towards achieving the actions that have been set out from that carer, and we would tailor our support and our information towards their needs. Oh, you was a bit previous in that. Anyway, the wraparound services include, as I've just said, information and guidance and support on specific topics, which again is tailored to the specific needs of the carer. The help for the carers to take a break and do something for themselves. This is really important because all the carer support is tailored around the cared for. So it's really important to look at stuff for the carers to do to, you know, try to take that break and, you know, to do something that recharges their batteries. One-to-one support, peer support, we do coffee and chats. I don't know if you've heard about our famous coffee and chats, which there's a few dotted around Rochdale. One of the ones that I've attended is in the town hall. What's the cafe called, Nat?
The Clock Tower.
Tower, that's it. We can have up to 30 carers in there at any one time, and there's always a member of staff and we have activities, trips, events, and we organise training. Support for working carers, we have a designated worker, Rabina, who supports people, carers who are actually working, and I think we've got a Zoom session at night for that as well. We signpost and refer carers to community health and wellbeing services. We have magazines 3 times a year. We've got e-bulletins at the moment. Lots of groups and services, local and national, and volunteering opportunities as Friends of Rochdale Carers, as Natalie will fill you in later. So how have we adapted to COVID-19? Well, obviously the way in which we deliver services has changed. I've just facilitated a Zoom session for a coffee and chat this morning. Obviously there was only 2 people attended because some was at appointments, etc. But you know, the 2 that attended really enjoyed it because it was an opportunity to speak to somebody that they hadn't spoken to all week, something different, to have a laugh. And that's what it's about, really. It's about the carer being able to step out of that caring role briefly and do something for themselves. Like we say, it's about keeping safe and well. But like Natalie said earlier, we are still operating a full service and very much welcome new referrals. Although our top priority is also ensuring that carers of all ages in the Rochdale Borough are supported at this uncertain time, so that they can continue, if they wish, to maintain their own health and well-being. Again, carrying on from that, so for both adult and young carers, we're contacting new carers referred for support, as well as completing wellbeing assessments over the telephone or via video call or via WhatsApp. For those carers already register us, we are maintaining regular telephone contact. So we're doing wellbeing calls, and we split the calls. There's been hundreds and hundreds of calls made to carers, and the response we've had from that is quite overwhelming, really, that they're so appreciative. Carers have been so appreciative of the staff making those calls. And again, it's about keeping in contact, letting the carers know we're still there to support them in these horrendous times that we're faced. We have pulled together a wealth of information on local and support available within the borough, so that if carers need certain things, it's there at our at the end of our things, so we can just tell them what support that they need if it's there. And like I say, it's all through technology at the minute, but we're managing.
Okay, so we launched this just before lockdown, but we've got a Facebook page for carers and also for professionals too. So we put lots of things on there, not just things that are specific for carers, but what professionals might be interested to find out about as well. So if anybody wants to join our Facebook page, if they just search on Carers Hub Rochdale, and they'll be able to find us on there. We've also, this is an amazing resource. So we've teamed up with Carers UK, and we've got a digital resource with them on their website. So if you log on to www.carersdigital.org, and then you can use the free access code, which is DGTL2945. And there you'll be able to access a wealth of information on different topics. There's online training, there's a care coordination app. And again, it's not just for carers, if professionals want to go on there as well and check out what's on there. There's lots and lots of useful tools for people on there. And you can use it as an app as well, so it's on your phone, so if you just need to look something up, it's easy to use. So just for our adult carers, as well as the Facebook page, then we've also got a closed group for carers, so they can go on there and chat to their fellow peers, find out what events are happening, and that's done within the closed group on Facebook. We've also launched, this is a really exciting thing for us actually, this happened, was probably going to happen not quite so quickly, but because of lockdown it was pushed forward a little bit, our Carers Community Network. This is a forum online for all carers that benefit from our services throughout the north, and they can pop on there. All we need is their email address, and then we can get them logged on and send them all the details, and they can share experiences and ideas, and there's lots of topics on there. So if somebody's logging on from Rochdale, they can join the Rochdale Carers Hub room. If they care for somebody with dementia, they can log on a room for carers for people with dementia. If they like gardening, there's a gardening room. If they like cooking, there's a cooking room, so they can go on and chat to fellow carers. There's also always staff and volunteers on there as well, so if somebody asks a question, somebody will get back to them really quickly on there. I think we're coming up to about 500 carers that are on there as well, so it's been a really useful tool. And there are coffee and chats on there as well, so 3 times a week, including an evening one, we've got virtual coffee and chats, and lots of people are forming good friendships and relationships on there. This is what it looks like. So once you log on, you can see the different bits that you can go on to, and then it's got the coffee and chats advertised as well, just to give you an idea. We have, for quite a while now, have had our Carers Help and Talk line. This again, it's for carers in Rochdale who feel like they just need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody. So all they need to do is dial that number, and the phone will be answered by a volunteer. It's 365 days a year, it's 24 hours a day, and it's 7 days a week. So whenever somebody wants to pick up the phone, there's a volunteer there, they can just have a chat. It's a low-level helpline, so it is for people who just want a friendly chat, a listening ear, some emotional support. And they'll also be able to signpost them back to us if they need any more practical support as well. On the other side of the chat line, so that's the incoming one, we also have launched an outgoing chat line, and the outgoing line is where our lovely volunteers are matched with a carer, and the volunteer will call the carer at the same time each week, again just to have a chat, bit of a welfare check to make sure they're okay. In Rochdale, our Rochdale carers, Rochdale volunteers, are making about 70 calls a week on this at the moment, to the outgoing calls, which is amazing. And just kind of put you in perspective with the volunteers, actually together have been absolutely amazing with the volunteers. Last year we had 24 new volunteers in the entire year, and since April until now we've had 35 new volunteers. So it's been amazing, and they're also with us as well. So everybody who joined at the start are also continuing to make calls and support the incoming and the outgoing line. We also launched during Carers Week that Karen was talking about, our access to lots of digital activities. So there's a carers choir on there, which carers love to go on and have a sing along. Karen loves singing, she'll be coming around the mountain. And you just get an hour or so of just having a little bit of break from the caring role. The cooking demonstrations, we're launching new Carers Choice in October. We've got quizzes as well, and all sorts of things going on Zoom. We post everything on Facebook so that you can always find out what's going on, and it's in our newsletters as well. For our young carers, again, we've got Zoom events for them. They're over Zoom and on WhatsApp. They can join the Facebook group. The young carers practitioners are keeping in contact with all our young carers, hopefully being able to access going into schools in the near future. But at the moment, everything's being done online, but they're still there to support the young carers that they have done before, and the new referrals too. Okay.
So anyone can refer by expression of interest, which is one of these little slips here. It's not the big A4 sheets that we used to have for referral. The professional just needs to put in the carer's details at the top, as you can see, name and address, and then the referral details underneath. And then there's 2 little tick boxes underneath, which is just really for the consent from the carer, to consent for us to contact them and work with them. And then you send that to the website there, to enquiries at rochdalecarers.co.uk, telephone there. Some of the GPs, when I first started working with them, was really pleased with these expression of interest, because they haven't got time to fill in a massive A4 registration form. So they were really pleased with these, and even though they were pleased with them, I still get GPs that refer to me via email. So if you do know anybody that haven't got one of these and they want to refer in, either me, myself or Natalie, or any of us, you could just email us. And like I say, if you want any of these, we can send them you. We've got the digital copy, so we can send them you via email. And if you want any copies of the briefing, we can do that. I'm sure Natalie will do that for you.
Yep.
There we go. Any questions?